about the day Sidney Rice is enjoying. 6 catches for 176 yards. He has a 58-yarder, a 63-yarder. Second and 12. Peterson to about the 17. Jarrett Johnson makes the stop. Clock continues to move as we come up on 2.5 to play. Minnesota with 2 timeouts remaining. Baltimore with 1. And Baltimore burns its 3rd and final timeout, I believe, with 2:30 to play.
I guess Baltimore deciding
they'd like a little room on the other side of any score that's upcoming.
Although they're going to get a stoppage at the 2-minute warning.
Two touchdown passes by Favre in the first quarter had the Vikings out to a 14-0 lead. A field goal at the end of the first half cut it to 14-3. Then a Longwell field goal, a Ray Rice touchdown, and then Longwell a field goal again, Shanko a touchdown, and it was 27-10. Mark Clayton caught a touchdown pass to cut it to 27-17. And then after a Longwell field goal, 2 touchdowns for the Ravens to grab a 31-30 lead.
How strange it must be for these Minnesota fans that they're looking at Ryan Longwell, a longtime Green Bay Packer, and Brett Favre, obviously a longtime Green Bay Packer, as the money guys there in the fourth quarter.
Right there, 3rd and 9. Peterson stacked up at about the 14-yard line.
Well, the crowd's booing. I don't know what they're booing about. I don't know what else you expected the Brad Childress to do. You're not going to run the risk of stopping the clock with an incomplete pass and giving Baltimore any more time than they're going to have.
Well, that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Greg Gumbel down here in Minneapolis. 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter, and Ryan Longwell, who has connected from 40, 22, and 29 yards out, will try this one from 31 yards, and the kick is good. That one puts the Vikings back up by a score of 33-31.
Well, John Harbaugh's club now hopes for good field position after the kickoff return. Never a doubt about this. And then can they get down to about the 35, 37-yard line with no timeouts remaining?
Jared Allen cheers that on, and then he'll be on the field on defense in just a couple of moments. Baltimore, in its last 3 drives, has covered a lot of ground in very little time. The Favre family looking on.
That's Deanna Favre right there in the middle, looking on. How many times has she watched this before?
Old hat for her. Everybody's excited, and she goes, I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I somehow suspect it's not just old news over there.
Joe Flacco looking for his shot as the Ravens try to hand the Minnesota Vikings their first loss of the year. Lardarius Webb is deep. This is going to be bounced and picked up at the 15 by LaRon McClain. McClain back to the 30, out to about the 33-yard line.
Can this Minnesota defense regroup, because they have just fallen apart the last couple drives?
Flacco from his own 33. Far side of the field and overthrows his intended receiver, Mark Clayton. 2nd and 10. Steve Hauschka, a career long of 54.
If need be, I would assume they would try it all the way up to 60 or so if they had to.
Joe Flacco trying to add to a career high 347 yards passing on the day.
I'll guarantee you that Hauschka has made 60-yarders in practice before.
Flacco running out of time, got rid of it. This is Rice. Rice out of bounds across the 45-yard line. That's a first down.
Joe Flacco continues to impress. Keep in mind, this guy in NFL terms is still a baby, but he earns the Joe Cool nickname. He is unflappable back in the pocket. Stays with it, and he has been pummeled today by this Minnesota pass rush. And yet he is still there.
Rice 9 catches for 114 yards receiving. Flacco over the middle of the diving grab by Kelly Washington to the 41.
And Washington gets up limping a little bit, but again, look at that throw from Joe Flacco.
Flacco, short one to Rice. Rice inside the 40 to the 38. Coming up on 1:05 as Hauschka gets loose on the sidelines.
Well, we're about at a 57-yard field goal right about now.
Flacco stepping up, throwing, and overthrew on the near sideline, Derek Mason.
And Mason just imploring the side judge for a throw on the flag, really arguing that he was either held or interfered with. It's going to have to be pretty bad to draw a flag in this condition at this stage of the game.
3rd and 7, 48 seconds to play.
This is where all those sprints, all those gassers, all those conditioning drills, you hope they pay off here.
Here they come. Flacco throws. That is complete inside the 30-yard line to Derek Mason. 40 seconds to play. First down, Baltimore.
If you're a football fan and you're not impressed with Joe Flacco, you're not paying attention.
And he's going to throw it. Incomplete, out of bounds, stops the clock, 26 seconds.
Well, they tried a little trickery right there. Cameron, the offensive coordinator with Flacco, because they were going to just play it that Minnesota assumed they were going to spike the football.
There's Cameron, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Minnesota that time, and Carl Payman in particular, really honored their assignments and stayed with it. They didn't get caught.
On 2nd and 10, you put it on the ground to Ray Rice. And Rice to about the 26. 19 seconds and counting.
Going to be about, what do you figure, 45, 46-yard field goal if they did it from here.
And Flacco going to let the clock run down and spike it here, I would assume. And he does, with 2 seconds to play. And here comes Steve Hauschka in his 2nd season out of North Carolina State. A 54-yarder last year for his career high. 44-yarder for his season high this year.
Whether he makes this or not, one thing's for sure. Joe Flacco is going to be able to say, on the day that he went head-to-head with Brett Favre, I stood my ground.
From 44 yards. And we get a whistle. Minnesota has 2 timeouts to burn, and they're going to use one here.
Timeout, Minnesota, their 2nd.
Well, right now, this is what you love about the game of football. When you get a game that comes down to the last play of the game. The tension, the drama, good stuff.
Hauschka hoping to silence the crowd and hand the Vikings their first loss of the year. He missed it. close friends, Brad Childress, John Harbaugh, former assistants at Philadelphia, going head-to-head. Minnesota survives to go 6-0 on the year, their first 6-0 start since the 03 season. Hauschka just pulled it.
Yep, he hooked it from the very beginning. It never was between the uprights. And a tremendous fourth quarter effort by the Baltimore Ravens ends up being in a losing effort because of that missed field goal.
On the sideline, Brett Favre wasn't even looking.
He goes, did he miss it? And Tarvaris Jackson gives him the news.